We do help companies do that, and yes, I think it's very important. You know, for example, we're talking right now with a law firm that is looking to do a new website, and they have to sort of integrate some social media, and some of their partners use it, and some of them don't, and they're not quite sure how they're going to do it all. So as part of the proposal we've given them, we're going to go in and actually set up the LinkedIn profiles for each of the partners that don't have them yet, and then make sure that those new ones, as well as the existing ones, consistently message about the company. Because each of them may talk about the firm in a slightly different way or based on their specialty within the firm. And it's important that the brand for the company carry across all of those, so that if somebody comes in through one attorney but really needs something that another attorney is providing and they go to their page, you know they work for the same company. You know, it should sound the same. So it's important to make sure that we're using the correct wording, that we're getting everything else across all of the platforms to be consistent. And it doesn't have to be consistent vanilla Xerox kind of thing. It needs to be consistent. This is our differentiator. This is why we're the best, and this is why you should work for us.
These are all just important things, and I'm fascinated by this because it's a different world. I mean, before you had the name of your company, you maybe had a brick and mortar location, and you did a brochure. So if somebody comes to you, it's like, is a brochure important, or is it more important to get your branding right out on your social media sites?
I think the social media right now. I mean, everybody who's doing the buying, everybody, it's rather broad. The majority of people doing the buying these days, they're doing it online. They're getting referrals from people. Even if they're not going to your website to say, oh, here's a firm A, firm B, firm C, who am I going to pick? They're putting it out on their network. They're going out onto LinkedIn and sending it out to everybody they know. Hey, I'm looking for a firm that does X. Who would you recommend?
Oh, that's so true.
So,
that's
you know, making sure that you're out there, that you're findable, that you say the right things, that you're networked with people. I mean, while we network in person and we try to make sure we're in the right organizations and doing the right things and spending our time in the right places, you need to do the same thing online. You need to make sure that you're on the right message boards and you're posting the right information and that you're being helpful. And again, like in person, my philosophy, and I think most people's philosophies should be, let's educate people, not me, you need to buy me.
Right,
you know, it's how can I help you? What information would you like to see? How can I provide information that to me is old hat, but to you might help you take your business to the next level? And put that information out there where they can get it. Put out a webinar, put out an article, do a blog post, answer questions that somebody may have on the internet that helps them get where they need to go. I mean, it helps to brand who you are, because you become the helpful, educated, smart, you know, provider that is able to be there and do what's in their best interest. But it's also, it's the thing to do. I just don't know how else to describe it.
I think it's really when you give, you get. You know, it's out there and you share knowledge, you share information. The other thing you need to be doing is asking.
Absolutely.
I mean, asking is one of the most important things. Who should I talk to? What should I be doing? Asking what's going on in the world today is critical. I mean, not only sitting there posting it online and asking the question, but also sitting down in person and taking the time. One of the things I find for every relationship I built inside Success in the City is by getting to know somebody. And I always tell people, never assume, ever, how close somebody is. I treat every single person like they are the CEO of their life, whether it's the janitor in the building, because maybe that's one connection away to reaching somebody you need to know.
Yeah, like the person who has the key to the garage to get you out at night when you're there too late.
Or maybe he cleans the president of the account you want to get to know, and you say, hey, drop a note.
They're also people. So despite what they can do, they're also someone who's going to work every day and caring for their family, and it's nice to acknowledge them. I mean, you want someone to say hi to you when you step into an elevator. They want someone to say hi to them when you're walking down the hall. It's no different. They are the CEO of their life. They are just as important, and you need to treat them that way. And that's part of your brand and how you reflect yourself, the fact that you have those conversations and take the moment to say that to somebody. You know, I don't know if you've seen recently online, there are these pictures going around of some of the presidential candidates and the way that they are treating people, and there's a picture of Obama doing a fist bump with one of the custodial staff within the White House, and they've contrasted it with a picture of Romney sitting out on a chair getting his shoes buffed, you know, and it's like, well, that's their brand, you know, it's very much who they are. And so it's everything, all your activities, all of your interactions with people, it all reflects who you are.
Yeah, and you never know when somebody's going to take that picture, you know, that's there. Well, what do you think I should be asking you today? What do you think is relevant that's going on in your life?
I don't know. You've asked me a lot of things. That is a good question. You stumped me. I don't know what to suggest.
What should somebody know about Jen Sterling?
They know all they need to know about me.
See, See, you're like me. See, it's hard to be interviewed, isn't it?
It is. I would say the thing that's actually happening most right now, other than things going on in my personal life that we've already talked about, would be my daughter.
Your daughter is amazing.
Thank you. I'm a little bit proud of her. She has her own company, and we are actually building up right now for a major fundraising event that we do every year for her. So it's very much on my mind, and a lot of my activities on a day-to-day basis are based around it. But yeah, she has her own company. It's a 501c3 called Let's Help Kids, and it's all based around helping kids be happy, especially those that are financially disadvantaged. So we do a lot of things like birthday presents for kids in the shelter, and bikes for kids in transitional housing, and Halloween costumes, and summer camp scholarships, and it's fun. Things that bring smiles to kids. It's been a lot of fun.
It is amazing. I only wish, I always say, if I only knew then what I know now.
Yeah.
And I wish I had this is so brilliant that you have set your daughter on the path to entrepreneurship at such a young age. I think it's incredible. And I wish I could have done that for my children, to get them to set up their own business. But to have, also, I wasn't a branding expert, but it's nice when your mommy does my brand, and she consults, and we had, we sat around and we talked about our messaging. But to watch her grow, because we've known each other for years, and to watch her grow from coming to our first Halloween event, she was our first diva in training. She showed up in a princess costume. Like, I think she was 3?
Yeah,
maybe 3 at the time.
I think she was.
And now here she is, and I watch her go into a room of people, adults, and now hand out her business cards and say, what her needs are for her coming. It's really, really amazing.
It's a passion of mine that she grow up knowing that she can do whatever she wants, that she can be and build whatever she wants. She doesn't have to grow up and get a job. And if I have one passion in life that is above all others, it's that one. I want her to know that she can do it. And she's never known that she's supposed to be afraid to stand up and give a speech. She's never known that she's supposed to be afraid to go into a networking event. And those are both things that terrify me.
Oh,
building up to go do that stuff. Yeah. And it took a lot to get over that hurdle before I could go out and do those things to build my business. Well, she's doing them, and she doesn't realize she's not supposed to be able to.
Yeah, let's not tell her.
I know.
No. I think
love
it's really incredible.
And I just love it.
One of the things, and I'm an international speaker, and I go around the world and talk to people about, how we have to think about the world today. And one of the things I say is that whether or not you are an entrepreneur or you work for a corporation, you have to bring an entrepreneurial mindset to your job today.
Yeah.
Companies really need that kind of thinking. And I want people who work inside a corporate environment to understand that you have negotiated an agreement with your employer, which says, in exchange for my skill sets, my talents, my thinking, you're going to pay me X amount, and you're going to provide benefits or whatever those are. And I think companies that really provide that framework really flourish. And you look at Apple, bring those, Google. This is the place where they really want smart, brilliant people. I like people to come back and confront me with ideas.
Absolutely.
So I think it's brilliant what you're doing. And
jobs aren't like they used to be. You can't just go in and show up and punch your card and sit there and read the paper and drink your coffee and plug away on the computer and do your work and leave. You just can't. You won't survive. You'll get, pink slipped in a heartbeut.
I think it's about thinking today. I think thinking is really important today. Oh, you are read thinking.
Oh, yeah, go figure.
Well, I know we've got a couple of people here with us today, and I thought we might want to see if anybody's got any questions for us today. So how did you brainstorm your own brand, your own identity, all of those things? How did you do it? And I agree, it is harder to do it for yourself.
It's very hard. With my first company, it was, I just need to get something out there, and I whipped something up figuring I'd change it within a year, no problem, and it lasted for 10. The second company, we overthought it. It's, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to name it? What should it mean? How are we going to brand it? What is the logo? We completely turned ourselves in circles for months. With this company, it was kind of a 24-hour kind of thing. It was, I'm starting a new company. Okay. Bing, let's just do it. And it really was, okay, what is it that we do? How is it, I want to market it. Okay, well, it's all about the thinking. It's all about the red thinking. It's red thinking. Okay, we're off. And it really, I didn't overthink it. So
that's good too.
Wasn't a lot of creativity into that one. It was
but it is. But there is. You've been doing it long enough, and you kind of sometimes the answer is immediate. Sometimes they're not.
Correct.
You really got to struggle to find out what the answer is. But sometimes it is instantaneous. It's the right brand.
Yeah.
And so when you have that gut, it just is the right thing.
Yeah, just go to the core and define what it is.
Yeah. And I think the first time we ever have failure, it's like devastating. It's just like devastated, especially if you've really invested yourself.
Yeah.
But it's through being seasoned, say I'm older than 40, to say that I have enough experience to understand you do get through it. You do get through it.
You do.
And go
You
through
do
some tough
absolutely.
stuff, but share some of
My
your
mom has
failures.
always said that her biggest failure was not teaching me how to fail, which I thought was really kind of fascinating. And it has led me, actually, through those kinds of conversations, to focus really on what some of those failures were. And I actually now do a whole presentation. Poor Christina invited me to speak at Sterling Women about, me and my company, and I spent the whole time talking about failures. I have many. I can talk through a zillion of them. I think that one of the biggest and most recent for me was I made a decision with my second company to bring in partners. And I felt that I couldn't do it myself. What did I know? I didn't have a business degree. I didn't have, the big master's or PhD. I didn't have the knowledge base to, who was I thinking I could do this myself? I needed someone else to help me. And it was a huge mistake and a huge failure. My doubt in myself allowed me to open up what was so important to me and allow someone else into it who destroyed it. So I learned a lot from that experience about people, about myself, and when I should listen to those doubts and when I should push through them. I'm sure I will make similar mistakes again, but there are things I will never do again based off of that. So.
I think partnerships and relationships in business are probably more difficult or challenging than in a marriage.
Absolutely.
I think they're very different. They're very personal, and I think I always think we know everybody else knows stuff that we don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's wrong. We can't assume everybody else knows everything.
Right.
And they're probably struggling with the same issues that we are, uncertainty. Everybody else has a different thought process about what you're doing and what you should focus on than what we should or think we should be doing. And I think it's extraordinary when partnerships do work.
Yeah.
I think that there's an exception to that more than there is to it works. And I know some great partnerships that are perfect in the relationship, but for the most part, I think that they don't necessarily work. Because I think you bring two different people with two personal and different agendas. Do you find that
and
to be
sometimes
true?
more than two people.
Right.
I agree. I think that the successful ones are the exception to the norm. If anybody's thinking about a partner, call me. I'll talk you off the ledge. I don't think that it's the way to go. I think there's so many other ways to do business these days that you don't have to open yourself up to that. You are able to do it in other ways. But yeah.
There's something where your company is right now, and you're kind of in a smaller framework. You've been in the big size, and you've been in the smaller framework. Do you have a preference for either side?
I like the small side, mostly because I love what we do. I mean, the whole reason I started doing this is because I love what we do. And I don't want to get so big that I lose touch with my staff, because the people in my company mean the world to me. They are family. And if I get big enough that I don't really know them well, and I've done that, I've been that big, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling of it. I also want to be small enough that I can still be involved in the projects. I just thrive on being able to sit around the table with a CEO and his executive team, his or her executive team, and digging into their business and really figuring out how I can add value. I mean, I get so excited and jazzed by that. And if I get big enough where I have to just manage the company, I don't get to do that anymore.
Right.
And to me, that's not only playtime, but that feeds my soul. And so I need to stay small enough that I can work with people I love, feed them, and then client-wise, work with people that I love and feed them. And all of that in turn feeds me. So there's a good balance there.
I think that is a great observation, and I think that's true. I decided a long time ago, whatever I do for the remaining hours of my life is to be in passion. I'm going to do the things that bring me joy and happiness, because whenever I'm in those places, everything that's supposed to come to me follows.
Yeah.
So before we close, for you, what is success?
Oh, that's another stumper. Success is being happy.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Are you happy? You are. You're successful. I want to thank you for joining us today for our CEO Chick Chat with Jen Sterling, who is our former chairman of our board. Right now, you're considered our past chairman of the board. I don't know if that's an official title.
I guess so.
She is the CEO and founder of Red Thinking LLC, which is a company that does services in the branding, helping you tell your message. And if you want to know more, please go up and look at redthinkingllc.com.
Correct.
And talk to Jen. I think she'd be a great asset to you. And we thank you for tuning in and watching CEO Chick Chat today. Here, filmed in Tyson's Corner at Pillsbury, Winthrop, Shaw, Pittman. Thanks, and make it a great day.